Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to review TrustSwap, the swap token. Top-down view, this project is pretty healthy, mostly green. There's nothing really red on it, and I have very few problems with this project. It's very, very strong from a token economics perspective, and it's very, very strong from a market perspective. So because of these things, I'm very bullish about this project. So what does this project do? They offer 3 instruments right now, which are live. They stake. You stake the tokens, which will pay you dividends. For 80% of what they make goes to these dividends. Not available for the U.S., unfortunately. But for those individuals who are in more free countries, you can make money from their dividend structure. The only other project that offers you 80% of what they make is Celsius, and that's been one of my best performers. And so I guess I'm biased for projects that give you back to their community. This project aims to do that. And for those who don't know, I invested in Celsius, and that one gave me about a 60x return. That's about a 6,000% return. So this is the only other project that I've seen that says, hey, we're committed to giving back 80% of what we make to our community. The smart lock technology is something on there which works well with their Launchpad, which competes with Binance Launchpad. Basically, they can work with projects for setting up smart contracts that give time releases of tokens, so that if you invest in a project, you know that they're going to receive their funding over a period of time rather than all at once, and it doesn't. And they could also do a time release of tokens to the team, so that the team doesn't dump its token. So it gets a longer term commitment, and it's a good way of proving that long term commitment. So they're using smart contracts to prove that commitment of projects, or even allowing for smart lock to be used with business entities that aren't doing ICOs, but that want to do some kind of token lock mechanism with smart contracts. And they also offer smart swap with both like a mediator in contracts, where both parties agree to the contract, which allows the code to mediate the transaction. So in essence, or in a practical, short to the point way of describing what TrustSwap does, is they're doing smart swaps and escrow services. And to listen to their CEO talk, he was mentioning things like how in the past you would use lawyers to do this kind of stuff. But if we use smart contracts, we could see a massive reduction in costs for businesses that want to automate escrow, who want to automate the mediation of financial transactions. This is a massive market, and and I'm very surprised to see that this project is one of the first ones to really go for this. I would have thought that this would have already been accomplished by another Ethereum project long ago, but I'm actually surprised to find out that no one has thought of this. This is kind of like common sense stuff, but no one else has built it out. As far as I know, and as far as they have claimed as well, no one has really gone for this, which I'm amazed by. So the thing that they're going to build out in the future, okay, so this is stuff that's live now, which is also great. They have stuff that's already out, which is, really good as well. And so one of these things I put stars on, these are the things I think that are amazing products. I'm not so excited about this because I think there's a lot of competition with these things. But the next thing that comes up, I am actually excited about, and maybe they'll be creative with this as well. But as far as what I'm excited about, smart subscription, heck, that's amazing. That's what cryptocurrencies should be used for. Like, oh, I want to get like a subscription to some service. I could throw some amount of crypto in an account, and that account will be drawn down based on, let's say, some use of some product. And so I'm surprised that no one else has gone for this kind of stuff. And they claim to be the first movers in this category as well. So how much money would be needed? So one brief thing I'm going to say about this project is they have addressed most of the issues in this graph that I go through. And this is from, my multi-years of experience in crypto, all these different areas. And I modify this graph based on my experience. If I see something new contributing or see something going away from a trend, like DEXs taking over, I might remove centralized exchanges' effect on price, etc. But This project actually addressed many of these issues directly in the white paper and in direct statements. I'm actually quite amazed at how they've addressed so many concerns, which is what makes this project so strong. And so they even addressed their revenues and their model. Like, how are we going to be? How do you think about this project from a cash flow perspective? And they've addressed it. So the project, you can look at my sources. This is going to be the last video where I provide sources. In the future, I'm actually going to go straight to providing this graph because I want to save time and get more of these videos out. But for this video, I did provide the sources, and you can look into that for the details of how this calculation was derived. The project is very clear as far as revenue model. And what they need is about 3/10,000ths of the entire crypto volume. So 3/10,000ths, if they capture 3/10,000ths or 1/30,000th of the or 10/30,000ths or whatever, or like 1 in 333,000, right? Or just this number, if they capture that, you'll see a 43x return from here, and that's to $1 billion market cap from this pittance of a market cap that they have now, which they are indeed a pittance. They're a very small market cap. So does the team have track record for showing that they can deliver? Well, they've done plenty of startups in the past, social media stuff, programming stuff, and we'll get into the details of that. But yes, they have programmer and entrepreneurial spirit, so they do indeed have that track record. So my conclusion, this is one of the strongest projects I expect to be performing. From my expectation, I expect this project to be one of the strongest performers in my portfolio. And I expect it to be pretty up there for my statistical guess. Remember, this is just my conjecture. If I was to go with a guess of where a project would lay in the statistical distribution of my portfolio, this is where I think it would be, or in the crypto space in general. That's the angle I go with this. All right. So future increase in demand for token. I expect there to be a future increase in demand for the token. I do expect it to be price performance. The token is used for services. This project has a very strong token economic model. It's awesome. Okay. They have dividends for staking, which I love. Discounts for services, 50% off for their services. Governance, which means the token votes on what the foundation does with funds. And, this isn't for America because, we're the land of the free. You got to remember that. America, the land of the free, you can't have access to anything that can grow your wealth. But that's that. That's the most I'll go into that from this point. They have the ability to modify escrow contracts. So when people reach these agreements, that you can come up with terms to have a modifiable contract if you put money up or something. That's in the future that they develop that. And their token also has a burn schedule, which means 10% of everything that is earned is burned. 10% of all fees. So that is awesome. You're going to have a deflationary effect from that contribution. So dividends plus burn, this thing is going to be aggressive. If they capture any market, this is going to be aggressive. I cannot be any more clear with that. Nothing is investment advice, but I've never seen a token model that actually looks so healthy. And yes, they have a token burn. You can see this little thing right here. I said yes. Their fees that burn tokens are very legitimate, and I do expect this to contribute massively to removing tokens per person. Because it is a massive contribution from if they capture market share. Obviously, you're offering, when we do these reviews, I'm coming from an angle where I believe they will do as they say and that they will capture market share. Okay, so the value of the market is large. This is so they mentioned in their white paper, they said we're going after the current crypto volume, which is about 72 billion. And I'm actually going to say, yeah, that's being conservative. There's much bigger pie when crypto grows, when all this money starts flowing into crypto. I expect this market to be massive. Basically, the escrow market for smart contracts is going to be a massive market. So they have a huge market for this project. Oops. Whatever. Just a little thing coming out of here that I didn't mention. I'll get into that. Okay. Actually, I'll go over now so I don't have to forget about it. So let's see. Okay. So more people using the project. That's what that was. And I do expect that to be the case. So the current niche is these things that are currently live: the Trust Stake, Smart Lock, and the Smart Swap. So, any services that they offer, they're paying dividends for to their community, 80%. They give back to their community, just like Celsius, one of the strongest performing cryptos out there. So yeah, we're going to see some massive contributions from their niche that is currently live. As you can see, most of their services now that are currently live are strong, in my opinion, including the one that's going to be built soon in Q1 of next year. The subscription services capabilities, which I do think are going to be big. So future market excitement from price momentum, I expect that to be the case. I expect current awareness to get a hype in the future. They had a major hype stage 3 months ago, but for this period in the crypto cycle, I still think it's relatively low. It was a major hype cycle, but the project had pulled back from that. We can see that the team, they have 11.2 thousand followers on Twitter, which is on the lower end. Project Twitter is also on the lower end at 12.5. Telegram, 5,000 followers. Social media awareness is relatively low. YouTube exposure, some of the biggest exposures, 25K. So compared to the last season, you were getting something like 77,000 or hundreds of thousands of people viewing it. So we're not in that crypto bull run yet, but for the current crypto season, 25 is kind of on the high end, but that is not considering where things are going to be when crypto really gets going. So I put all of these awarenesses as low because it's compared to last season, and because of the price pulling back, and because people have largely kind of forgotten about this project about 3 months ago or so. I think that it hasn't seen what it can do before the first marketing campaign. So it's making the rounds with content creators, but there's no major marketing campaign announced that I've seen. I read through a lot of their Medium stuff, and I didn't see any major efforts for that, but they are making the rounds through the content creators, which is one of their ways of getting out there. So they've gotten exposure through those creators, and I expect things like that to increase in this next bull run. So major upcoming events. They have an announcement of an acquisition soon, so they've apparently acquired someone, or they're in the works with acquiring someone. That's pretty awesome. Not many projects even talk about things like that. Instead of being a quote-unquote partnership, it's an acquiring a whole company, which means you get their intellectual property, et cetera, et cetera. That's an amazing thing to happen, and they're going to announce that very soon. So, and they say this is going to take them to the next level. They're talking about Q4, NFTs, Q3, smart swaps. I don't know if they finished that yet. And they got Q1 of next year, smart subscription services. And so those are the things to look out for. They have constant rollout of services. That is great. So, each quarter they have something cool that they're releasing. I'm totally hyped about this project. I just think it's practical. I'm amazed that these services have not been brought to market before. Money needed to move price up decreases. So there's going to be less money needed to move the price upwards as time goes by. I expect that to be the case. Tokens on the sell side to decrease. I do expect that to be the case. I expect the sell side to decrease. The market cap is tiny. It is a $23 million market cap. Fully diluted is $33 million. It is a tiny little baby market cap. The token supply distribution over 65%. Look at that, another healthy aspect of their token economics. Many things in this project are healthy, and that's why I'm once again bullish. The low inflation rate, I didn't even care about it because it's a deflationary. They have the token burn. More than 65% of the tokens are released. You have all these staking mechanisms, and also the token votes on how funds are used. So the token represents so however they release those last bit, the 45% or whatever, it's not that important because all these factors that benefit the project, I think could, and the small market cap, etc. All of these things are from this position, if you buy now, are going to benefit this project. So from an inflationary standpoint, I don't think inflation is the biggest concern for this project. And if it's a bit bigger market cap, I would probably dig deeper, but I don't think it's a big issue. So it's 80% down from the all-time high, 7.33x from its all-time low. It's been out for 4 months, so I can't really, I'm not even saying this is a market that can be contributing or not contributing, like a bull run or a bear run, because it's been out for such a short period of time. It's too young to say that it's in some kind of cycle. However, it is about 46x up from, I think that they had a token sale and it was valued at 500K. When they started it at Uniswap, but I don't think a lot of people bought in at that. But even if they did, there was a huge opportunity for those people to get out already. So they had these people who bought at a super low buy price, they had the opportunity to exit their position right here. So it looks like a good opportunity to start entering again. And, it's even starting to trend up. And most likely those people who had massive gains from early on, if they did get into that really cheap price, they had probably already left. Or at least, they were definitely questioning their position here. So it's gave them opportunity to exit. Now only the true hodlers are back. And so I'm just putting this as neutral because low amount of time that it's been out and because it's had a big pullback. So you don't have to worry too much about people who got it super cheap who just want to dump. Okay, so the niche, once again, contributing to tokens on the sell side to decrease. They have their niche running, so that's good. The trust stake, the smart lock, and the smart swap, all those things will contribute to decreasing the amount of tokens on the sell side. This fee burning, it really did contribute to tokens going down per person. This thing is going to be deflationary. It's going to see price increases. Obviously nothing in the future is guaranteed. All right. As far as the CEO or the team, there's no inventions or billion-dollar startups that I can find in their history. But I did find, they have Intel and GoDaddy experience, Rebuzz, Bravo Coin, creator of Uptrend. They have a lot of startup and development experience, basically. The team is, they've done startups and, they've gone through the whole cycle of doing startups. So they have that under their belt. And, so they got that experience. And there are also a lot of developer, the projects that they came up with demonstrated developer talent. And so they have that experience. That current development team is very strong. All right, so the best option of the competition. The CEO said, no competitor offering our services of trustless token lockups, time-based payments, and automatic payments. No one but us. So for me, that's the first mover advantage. That means they're the best of the competition. This seems true to me as I have not seen it either that I know of. So it's a major opportunity. I've never seen anyone talking about this being their main service as well. Just writing either customized smart contracts or smart contracts for businesses that want these escrow services. Surprise, I'm surprised to see that no one has gone for that, even though, that would be like one of the first things you think that you would use smart contracts for. So that's a big, amazing thing in my opinion. Okay. Let me go. Okay. So here's one of those things that they mentioned that I find it amazing. I haven't seen any other projects mention this when I invest in them. They talk about, things to keep people from leaving. So they have swap score for staking, swap drops, something called dash daily average swap held time component since launch. These are things that keep loyalty. So external transfer catalyst inhibitor, something that inhibits people from wanting to leave the project. That's good. Every project should have that. Should have some barrier to stop people from leaving and say, hey, if you stick around, you'll get rewarded. You'll become a stronger member. You'll get bigger rewards. It's good that they have that mechanism. So that loyalty level of staking, is weighed, and that is great to understand that. They also mentioned internal transfer, market acquisition. How are we going to capture our market? Easy to implement APIs, specialized integration team. Integrating into existing networks. Think about Spotify or PayPal or whatever. They have a team designed for market acquisition. So once again, issue addressed. Not a lot of projects mention these issues, and it is great that they have addressed these things. That's why I think this project is really well managed, really well run. It may be a $1 billion unicorn, which is 43x from here. I honestly could see it going further in the next bull run. But this is just because it has good token economics. It has a very clear market, and they seem to know what they want. Obviously, once again, nothing's guaranteed. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for my own personal speculation. So the internal transfer catalyst. This is a first mover advantage, which they say they have. Their services offered and token model and first mover. All those things coming together for me to expect there to be a lot of projects that will want to use them as far as high year onboard market. So as far as governance, the token is voted for how the foundation spends funds. They could be more clear on what the governance will do beyond that. But as for now, that is a pretty strong thing to control how they spend their funds. That, as far as you need, that's a lot of control. That's entitles their governance, their token to governance. Controlling the money is controlling everything as far as I'm concerned. So that's a great thing that they have given to the token as a capability. And I do expect it to assign developer funds, design people funding in the future, or growth or reinvestment into the project in the future. I think things like that will happen. And so that'll contribute to high value people, which will prioritize upgrades. The developer compensation, I think it will be covered because they have token that votes on foundation funds. 20% of the token goes to different factors. One of them was development, and also 20% to the team, which is also developers. The strategic partnerships and backers. They launched project called Coin. By the way, Alex Mashinsky, the Celsius CEO, he's part of that, which I find amazing as well. It looks like, and the CEO even gave a shout out about him being involved in that project. So that's one of those CEOs that's like one of the best in the entire crypto space for performance. And they also are doing a new acquisition announced. And, they're doing partnerships with crypto influencers like Ivan on Tech and Box Mining to get marketing out there. And I expect the partnerships to be bigger in the future. I expect, more of that in the future to happen. I really think that that's going to happen. The long-term vision and strategy. So their vision is to be the de facto DeFi smart contract service provider for escrow, time release, token locks, subscriptions, event release, cross-chain integration, and DEXs. So all the stuff that you think smart contracts would already be set up to do, or that you would already have a service provider providing such activities. So amazing things. The mission, automate and simplify transactions between people and organizations using well-built DeFi applications, eliminating the need for third parties in these transactions. So removing people from being mediators, allowing for smart contract code to do this is a massive market opportunity that they are going for. And that is why the clear mission statement is important. It allows for people to understand that. Developer motivation is going to be big. There's a huge opportunity here. The long-term vision and strategy, high-value upgrades will be the case. I expect there to be the value of services provided to increase. The value of the services provided to increase. Another component of this, voting, the value growth, partnerships, airdrops, services. There's a lot of room for businesses to get involved. They have a very strong business demand likely in the future for this project. Businesses offer huge opportunity for picking up tokens because they have a lot of funds. So they have a very good token model for seeing that contribute to the price component of this project. That should be yellow, whatever. And so that business component I expect to contribute to price. So all of these yellow things are just stuff that I love to see in projects, but they aren't mentioned in this project, so they don't contribute. Just protection from custodial exchanges, which isn't as big as a deal as it was in the past, like it was for EOS, which is mostly because they're mostly on Uniswap. Most of their trade is there. The risk of overtake from non-custodial exchanges is still there. It's medium to low, but that kind of stuff is decreasing, and that's why I wiped all of this out. Because DEXs are becoming more popular. As for the CEO score, I put him at like 7.8, about 8. he has no inventions or billion-dollar startups, and you know what, this could be his first, who knows. But that's one of the stronger ends for a CEO, because I see him as a visionary. He's got an entrepreneurial plus, coding plus, and crypto space logic plus, because he's been in funding and he's been in the crypto space for more than 3 years. 3.5 years. So he's been around for a while. He's strong, in my opinion. But no, as far as I'm concerned, like, I'll put a strong CEO as someone who's got a billion-dollar startup or an invention of some kind. But honestly, it's better to have a billion-dollar startup than have an invention, because being an inventor doesn't mean that you're going to be a good business person. But whatever, that's sidetracking. The CEO is pretty strong, in my opinion, but he doesn't have any previous history of making billion-dollar startups, which not a lot of projects do. Who knows? This could be his first. So they have this one guy on their team, Joe Quinn Miro, he's the youngest Canadian to be inducted into the Canadian Market Association. So they have a marketing team set up for future marketing plans. I expect them to do well with that in the future as well. Yeah, he was the youngest Canadian to be part of that organization. Whew, trying to get through this project. All right, so the project is easy to use. It's one of their core tenets. Yeah, the project will have a lot of buy and sell activity in the future. I expect there to be, a community forming around this project. The project is on a DEX. The project will pull tokens into liquidity pools, also pull tokens into their staking services. So I expect that to be serviced, and it works the same way, leading to tokens per person to decrease. And so, they're easy to acquire because they're on Ethereum, which means the Uniswap. So these aren't as big contributors as they were in the past for projects that are on Ethereum. Yeah, so I think I've covered everything. So the final summary, the pros versus the cons. So the pro is they pay 80% of their, goes back to the community. Celsius is the only other project that I know that has done that. And that's done a 60x for me. So, in less than 2 years. So that was one of the extreme performers. Visionary, bold CEO, practical first mover market. From a practical standpoint, I'm surprised that no one else has gone for this. Excellent token model, extremely large market, low market cap. All these very positive things. One of the best token models I've seen out there. The cons, Ethereum's potential scaling issues in the future. I do think being on Ethereum, kind of, I don't know how Ethereum scaling is going to happen. If they can get that out in a reasonable time will tell. So I expect this to be one of my stronger performers. I expect it to be in the 14th percentile. I expect it to perform really well. That is my take on this project. This is all my opinion. Take it for what you will.